Welcome to a deep dive today. We're looking at some really fascinating source material. It's called The Weight is a Weapon. And honestly, it takes a perspective that kind of flips the script on how most of us think about waiting.
Yeah, it really does.
Instead of seeing it as this passive, frustrating thing, this source argues it's actually a powerful tool. Strategic, even. So we're going to unpack some excerpts, give you a shortcut to understanding this viewpoint, really pull out the key insights.
That's right. The core idea really is that waiting isn't just something you endure. It's something you actively do. It's presented as this active state, almost a form of engagement.
Even when it looks totally still from the outside.
Exactly, yeah. The source even frames it almost like warfare, or at least a weapon in itself.
Okay, let's unpack that because, well, it really challenges what we normally hear, right? Like, just do something, press forward,
Totally, the constant push.
And this source just hits you right at the start. Don't confuse stillness with stagnation. Your silence is warfare. Your waiting is a weapon. The author says that line was a real jolt. And I mean, it kind of shakes up your default thinking, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It forces you to stop and reevaluate. The source suggests there's this specific kind of strategic action, maybe an internal warfare, that's only available if you approach waiting differently.
How so?
Well, it says to wait and worship, not worry. So it contrasts that common urge to panic or push with this instruction. It references Habakkuk.
Right.
That basically says, wait for it, even if it seems slow, because it will surely come. The point isn't just sitting there passively. It's more like an active, expectation-filled waiting.
Okay, so why is waiting powerful according to this source? It says waiting is never idle in what it calls a prophetic process. And it breaks down this activity into three things: instructional, intercessory, and incubational.
Yeah, let's break this down a bit. Instructional. You learn what you can't be taught anywhere else. Think about patience, resilience, maybe understanding timing better, things experience teaches.
Right, stuff you can't just read in a book.
Exactly. Then intercessory, defined here as you birth what can't be built. This gets at the idea that unseen things are happening during the wait. Outcomes you couldn't just force through effort.
Interesting. Like birthing something rather than constructing it.
Right. And the third one, incubational. You are shaped for what is coming. So it's a time for internal development, getting ready, growing into whatever's next. So yeah, waiting isn't empty time. It's crucial development, stuff happening behind the scenes.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. The source warns pretty strongly against premature movement. It calls it a snare. And the cost, it calls it a spiritual miscarriage. It paints this picture of someone. It uses the term prophet or watchman, but you could apply it more broadly.
Sure, anyone with a sense of purpose.
Right, someone who acts before something is really ready, before it's mature.
Yeah, and this really highlights the danger the source sees in rushing. It suggests there's this, well, calls it the enemy, trying to convince you waiting is just wasting time.
Oh yeah, I can see that. That inactivity means you're insignificant.
Exactly, or if you're not being seen, you're not really sent or meant for anything important. It taps into that fear of irrelevance.
But the source pushes back hard on that. It says the weight is not a wall, it's a watchtower. I really like that image. It reframes the whole thing.
How so?
Well, it says waiting elevates your perspective, trains your discernment, and guards you from noise. It turns this thing that feels restrictive into something that actually gives you clarity and protection.
Okay, that makes sense. So what's the strategic advantage then of that elevated perspective and discernment? The material argues waiting isn't just passivity, it's strategic positioning. It's about gaining precision.
Precision.
Yeah, it uses this analogy like standing on a beach. You're being positioned with clarity, learning to see the wind shift, listen for what isn't loud, see movement beneath the surface.
Right.
It even adds you can war without lifting a sword just by obeying the last instruction. Implying power comes from timing and obedience, not just brute force.
And it tries to back this up with examples, right, from historical or biblical stories.
Exactly. It shows a pattern. Moses on the mountain comes down with authority.
Right.
Elijah by the brook gets sustenance during a famine.
Okay.
Jesus in the wilderness waits, then starts his ministry in power. The idea is these people who wait aren't weak. They become dangerous.
Dangerous how? Not literally harmful.
No, not harmful. Dangerous to the status quo, maybe. Because they carry a timed word, not just random noise. That's the phrase used. It frames these stories as biblical proof that waiting wills power.
Okay, got it. So it's about potent, well-timed action coming out of the wait.
Precisely. And the source goes into quite a bit of detail about the internal stuff that happens during the wait. It's presented as a time where Abba Father, or let's say divine purpose, is actively working on you.
Right, I saw that. It talks about purifying motives. So you stop doing things for man's praise, external validation, and start living for his pleasure, which sounds like a deeper internal alignment.
Yeah, exactly. And it sharpens your ear. Helps you tell the difference between just like good opportunities and what the source calls God-ordained doors. Opportunities that are genuinely aligned with your path.
Okay, so better discernment.
Yes. And it strengthens your spine, builds that inner resilience, that strength. So as it says, you won't break when you're finally released into battle or face challenges.
That makes sense, preparing you for what's coming.
And crucially, it breaks your addiction to pace. It teaches you to trust the process more than patterns. Helps you stop feeling rushed by external pressures.
Trust the process. That's hard for a lot of us, I think. So for someone listening who is feeling restless, asking, when? Why not now? I'm ready. The material offers this reassurance. The fact that you're still waiting means the word is still working.
Powerful.
It totally reframes it. Waiting isn't punishment, it's a proving ground. A place where something essential is being worked out inside you. It even says, don't abort what I'm maturing in you.
Wow, yeah, that connects right back to the main idea, doesn't it? Winning battles or getting impactful results, not just by frantic swinging, but by strategic standing.
Yeah.
By positioning.
Yeah.
The author apparently learned that waiting is a prophetic protocol, like a fundamental way of operating, not weakness, and that powerful moves were birthed from stillness, not striving.
Stillness, not striving.
It also adds that when you learn to wait well, you don't have to chase what's been assigned to find you, suggesting that alignment draws opportunities to you.
Okay, so it's not just about endurance, it's about active preparation and positioning. Does it give any, practical advice how to actually do this war in the wait?
It does, yeah. It offers some prophetic tools or disciplines, concrete ways to engage with this time.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, speak only when heaven authorizes. The idea is that prophetic power, or maybe just impactful action, flows through permission.
So, restraint. Don't just talk for the sake of talking. Wait for clarity, the right timing.
Pretty much. Then second, anchor yourself in the last word you received. Don't move until you get new instructions.
Okay, so stay grounded in what you already know or understand. Don't just jump at the next shiny thing.
Exactly. Resist moving just for the sake of activity. Wait for clear direction. Third, fast from activity and noise because silence breeds strategy.
Intentionally creating quiet space.
Right.
Stepping back from the constant doing.
Right. To allow for that deeper discernment, clarity, real strategy to emerge.
Makes sense. What else?
Fourth, worship without asking for release. This suggests shifting your focus. Instead of just wanting out of the wait, find meaning in the wait itself. Focus on the connection or purpose behind it, not just the escape route. That's a challenging one. Letting go of the outcome.
It is. And finally, fifth, record the vision while waiting. It says, don't waste your time, write the scrolls.
So document the insights, the lessons, the ideas that come up during this waiting time. Yeah, actively process and capture what you're learning while you're in that state. Don't just let it drift away.
Okay, those are some concrete things. And the material kind of ends with the sense of surrender. Repenting for the usual rushing and striving and yielding to this divine pause.
It expresses a hope that the waiting will refine us, not wear us down. And asks to learn to wait like watchers, wait like warriors, basically, with intention, strength, and depth.
So wrapping up this deep dive into the wait is a weapon, it's offered a pretty profound shift, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Seeing waiting not as empty time, but as active, strategic, a critical period for internal development.
Yeah, it moves waiting from being seen as just, downtime to being a watchtower for perspective, a proving ground for resilience, a time when crucial, unseen work is happening, shaping you, positioning you.
Right. And it gives you those actionable ideas, those tools or disciplines. How to engage with waiting, choosing words carefully, staying anchored, creating quiet, documenting insights.
The core message really seems to be that letting go of that constant striving, yielding to the pause, can actually lead to more powerful outcomes because they come from stillness, preparation, right timing, not just frantic effort.
So what does all this mean for you, listening? If your usual reaction to delays or obstacles is to push harder or maybe feel anxious, how might reframing waiting, seeing it as a strategic weapon or a necessary preparation time. How might that change your approach to challenges or goals right now?
Definitely something to ponder.